I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. Game face on when I chase like that. Yeah, I play so strong with a knife in the back. I'ma swing home run like a baseball bat. Gonna see me rise.
Hello and welcome to a very, very special episode of the Jam Session Goes Underground. This is the season finale. So I wanted to do a special episode with a very special guest. She has been on my show, The Warrior Within. So welcome to the Jam Session Goes Underground behind the camera lens. I have an amazing photographer on the show today, so you all are in for an incredible treat. She does concert photography, she does amazing outdoor photography, she takes photography of mushrooms and stuff, nature and all of that, and she's incredible at what she does. I always love having her on my shows because she's so easy to talk to. We could probably talk for hours and hours and hours, but this show is around an hour, unfortunately, but that's okay because she can always come back to my show. I always appreciate her being on my show. So like I said, this is the season finale of the Jam Session Goes Underground special episode behind the camera lens, and my very special guest is Tammie Birdwell.
Hi everybody. If I had known it was the season finale, I would have thought of a cliffhanger for the end, but I didn't know. So happy season finale.
Thank you for being on my show. I always enjoy you being on my show. You're so easy to talk to, and I
love it.
To
I
you
wasn't even nervous. Yeah, I wasn't even nervous this time. I had such a good time last time. Yeah, this is great.
I'm a little tired. I worked all day, but this is fun. This is fun for me. So yes, this is a good way to relax
quickly. And I've been thinking all day about what to talk about, so I won't even make you talk that much. But go ahead with whatever questions you might have.
Okay. Like I had mentioned, Tammie is a concert photographer, which is amazing, but she does way more than concert photography. I'm not going to limit her abilities to just concert photography, but because this is the Jam Session Goes Underground, we need to talk about it. There are highs and lows to concert photography, and what many of you do not know is the negative side and the lows to concert photography is, yes, Tammie may get a press pass or she may get a free ticket to get into the concert and take photos, but she is working her ass off for that ticket. Like, a lot of times there is weather that is going on. It's super, super hot outside and there's not fans and there is, not a whole lot to cool a person down. So she is working her ass off for that ticket and for the ability to do the photography. And photography, being a concert photographer, is hard in itself because you have to keep at a fast pace.
It's quick. It's real quick. It's real quick. I will say to those who are just starting out and wondering how to get into it, not quite the same as doing the bigger stuff like festivals and TLC and everybody. So you have more time, but generally once you get to a certain level, you've got 3 songs and you've got to go. So you've got to get every single shot that you want of that band, with the exception of the crowd shots in the first 3 songs. And sometimes they give you 2. So it's fast and you have to be on time and you can't be late. And I've now added 2 more cameras to my kit since the last time we spoke. So I'm weighing about an extra 30 pounds now. But I don't have to waste any time switching my lenses, which is helping me get even more good pictures. So that's one trick. But it took me 3 years to get extra cameras.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. You've got to really, really want this. You got to have a passion for it, because if you don't have a passion for it, it's not going to work out.
Yes, because trust me, the coolness of like being backstage and being able to be in the photo pit, that's cool. Like the first couple of times, and then you're used to it, so it's not, it's work. It's work, especially when it's 95 degrees outside and there's nowhere to cool down, and you've just got to keep going. Sort of just pretend it's not hot somehow. I'm not good at that. The last festival I did, everybody kept coming up to me going, "Are you okay?" I must have looked awful. I must not have looked okay.
Oh goodness. I will be inserting a photo of something similar of how hard it is.
Yes. That one luckily had an air-conditioned office for us. That's the only festival I've ever, but that photo is me laying on the floor of the air-conditioned office, and I stayed there for 2 hours. I'm really glad I was working with a team that day, because we still didn't miss any coverage and they had my back, which was awesome.
But like a couple of my friends just went to a major rock fest. I forget where it's at, but there was some pretty mainstream bands there, and they got to go, and I think that's incredible. But it's hard on the musicians. I can only imagine, like they provide the musicians with more than the concert photographers and the press. And so I can only imagine how the press feels if they're not, doing much for the musicians.
Yes. I mean, most of the musicians have either an air-conditioned trailer or at least an air-conditioned car they can hop in. I made it through this last one without needing air conditioning. I shot every band, even on the 90-degree day. I will say the band that surprised me on Sunday, I had never heard of them before. They are called Rubble Bucket. And if you have a chance, you should check them out, because they don't sound. Before they went on, I said, "Who do they sound like?" And all the other photographers were like, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be good." And it was even better than I thought. It was like 5 o'clock, right? 6. So everybody was hot and dying and done. But then Rubble Bucket came out and everybody's off their feet. The horn players had flowers on there. It was lovely. Check them out. They're amazing. But yeah, I had a really good time.
I will put a link to them in the description if I can find them, so you all in the audience can find them.
It's just like it sounds. Rubble bucket, all one word. Yep.
I will look them up. I will be sure to put them in the description. So, like I said, there's highs and lows. What has been some of the highs for you at these concerts?
Some of the highs. I can't remember the last time. Have we spoken since I shot TLC and Shaggy and En Vogue and everybody?
I had seen the pictures, and I really liked.
I feel like our Warrior Within was before that, though. Okay, so I have stories about that one. If you're thinking about getting into concert photography, understand that there are 3 major different kinds, right? So there's the smaller stuff in the 200 capacity venues, right, where there's not really a photo pit. You've got to kind of fight the crowd to get to the front, but when you have your camera, it's okay. Then there's, of course, the slightly larger venues where you have a smaller like pit in the front where they allow the photographers to go for the first 3 songs. Or, a festival. A festival will do the same thing. They'll have the pit for you to go first 3 songs. However, the large amphitheaters, when I shot TLC and everybody, I had no idea this was even a thing that happened. There was a pit, but they didn't let us in it. They made us shoot from about 50 feet back in the near the soundboard. And the guy who I was shooting for had let me borrow a camera that I didn't turn on until I got to the show. I had no idea how to use it. I did not do good on my Sean Kingston shots because I thought I could get away with using my Canon, but I was completely wrong and they were not good. But I asked for help from another photographer that was there, and he helped me get the settings. And one of the highlights, I think, of my career so far has been the fact Shaggy was last. Shaggy was last to go, and unlike the other 3 acts, Shaggy gave us 2 songs instead of 3. So we only had 2 songs to get every shot we wanted. And the very first song was all red lights and smoke. And unless you're a photographer, you don't know, red lights and smoke are like, they're evil. It's really, really, really hard. Yes. It's like the lighting designers do it on purpose. Like, fuck you.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So the first song was just all red lights and smoke, and I got a couple of decent, but then, and so understand this is the biggest show I've ever done. It's the 4th act. I'm pretty sure I'm getting shots, but I don't want to run the battery down to check. So I still don't know. I don't know how I'm doing. And the security guy, they didn't let us go in the pit. That's the one thing. But for the security guy to let whoever wanted to come stand in our spot. So I'm fighting about 70 people, I have 2 songs to try to get every shot of Shaggy. And so I'm like, I'm mad. I'm stressed out, the red lights and smoke and people. But then the second song started up, the lights immediately changed, and it was Mr. Bombastic, which happens to be, I don't listen to popular music really anyway, but it happens to be one of my favorite popular songs of all time. And I also happen to think Shaggy is beautiful. So I get excited, I'm trying and I'm looking, and suddenly Shaggy put the microphone in his pants.
Oh no.
And my and he was doing like the swirly thing with his hips with the microphone in his pants, and my entire brain just exploded. Like I blacked out. All I really remember is screaming. Because at that point, everything just broke. All the stress, all the people, all the excitement, everything just came out in one guttural scream. Oops, sorry. And then I think, oh my God, I get home and I'm like, I didn't get a single shot of Shaggy. There's no way. There's no way I got, but no, I got a shot of him with the microphone in his pants. So I proved to myself that even when I black out completely, yeah, I could get the shot. I still got the shot of Shaggy with the microphone in his pants. So that's been one of my proudest moments. And I mean, making it through a 3-day festival has been quite a feat this season. I think I have long haul COVID from my first festival that I worked this year. So yeah, yeah, and I'm branching out. I'm hoping to be booked for Bad Religion in October
Oh,
because
that'll be
I want to get some jump. Like jam bands don't really jump or use
yeah.
fire. There's certain things I want to start taking photos of that just I can't get from jam bands. So I'm trying to branch out at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that would
yeah, that's been the highlight of my year. And getting my new gear. My new gear came from someone very special to me who helped me get medical cannabis passed in PA actually.
Oh,
And
okay.
he used the one camera body that he sold me. He used to shoot the cover of High Times.
Oh, wow.
So I get
That's
goosebumps every time I talk about because it means so much to me. It
yeah,
means so much to me, like and I'm getting some incredible shots with it.
that's good. That is good.
Yeah,
That is
yeah, it's
so
the full frame versus the crop frame sensor, but yeah. The question people ask me most is how you get into this.
yeah.
And there are several different routes. I got very lucky and just happened to move here and meet everybody that was running all of the sites. And so before I started taking photos, I was going to the show and covering them by writing about them. And that was it. I wasn't taking any photos. I wasn't trying to go up with my phone, yeah. So that's how I got into it. If you're looking to get into it, you need a portfolio. And how do you get a portfolio? You go to the small shows. You go to the small shows where the bands are going to appreciate that you're there taking a photo of them. The security's not, because if you try to take a camera into like TLC, for example, security's not letting you in. They're not letting you in with that gear. You're not allowed in with it. But the smaller venues aren't like that. So that's what I recommend. Start in the smaller venues. Speak to photographers that you see out. Like if you go to a music festival and you see a photographer running around, speak to one, when they're not shooting. Speak to one. Ask them for an introduction to someone. Just network yourself.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it. And just build your portfolio in those smaller clubs, because trust me, those smaller bands, they're going to love you for it, because nobody else is there taking their photo and nobody else is helping them build. And they need those high quality photos for their websites and things like that. And it helps both of you because it gains traction. It gets you attention and it gets them attention because they're not posting crappy phone photos to their, social media.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I have a friend who I've been friends with him for a really, really long time, and he used to own a music store. Told me, he's like, reach out to their tour manager. If you're wanting to do a bigger band, just reach out to their tour manager, bypass the venue, like the people who are running the venue. And I was like, yeah, I'll try again. I've tried that before, but I will definitely try again. It doesn't.
That's 100% true, especially if you have a link to like a portfolio you can send them, proof that you can do what you say you can do. Reach out, offer them. From what I've been seeing, the larger bands like that, people offer 20 to 25 full resolution files. That's for the people working for the bands and not for pardon me, and not for like for me, I work for, websites and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes bands are starting to ask me now. I've been, yeah.
That's so awesome.
It is awesome. It is awesome. And then it's really awesome to be talking to one band and they were like, yeah, we were talking to this other band about you. That made me feel really good too. I was like, yeah.
That's always incredible when that happens. Like I remember taking photos. I think I took photos. No, I didn't bring my camera, but I could have taken photos. That's the point that I'm trying to make. I could have taken photos because it was at a outdoor concert at a state fair.
Yep, you could have. Those are the ones that get. There's no security checking your camera bag. You could get, yeah, those two. I didn't think of that. Good addition.
This particular musician is amazing. He has been in the mainstream. He's been signed up with Interscope Records. So I'm going to give a shout out to him, which I have not done before on here. But his name is John Ojaka. So he's an incredible musician. And
where's he from?
He is from Hawaii.
Okay. He's not the guy I'm thinking of.
He's from Hawaii, but he's been an extra on the show ER.
Cool.
Some of his music has been played like on I think it was the Spider-Man soundtrack, and one of his most popular songs is back in 1999. So okay. I will put a link in the description to some of his music because I am acquainted with him on Facebook, but like I never hit him up. I always feel bad because I'm like, I'm not going to bother him. He's probably super busy and he's in a totally different time zone than myself.
Yes. So I mean, I hear that. I understand. And frankly, you gotta play it cool.
Yeah.
That's not the wrong call for you.
No.
You got to play it cool, because I mean, it happened to me so much faster than I thought it was going to. Yeah. I mean, I blinked and I was shooting Trey Anastasio.
Yeah.
In an arena with 30,000 people there. Oh. And just you just got to play it cool. But also, I'm not going to lie, I had on my N95 mask just so you couldn't see me up in the pit saying, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit the whole time.
Yeah. That's how I felt like when I've met some of these musicians. Like I had the privilege of actually meeting one of my favorite musicians, Chris Motionless from Motionless in White, and they're my all-time favorite band. And awesome. I met him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart is racing. Play cool, baby. It's just a person who happens to be famous from his talent. So
yeah, you do. I mean, even it's still, and I have to say, it stays exciting. Yeah. One of my favorite musicians actually played at the festival I did last weekend. And I've known his wife for a while. She has 3 little kids. We talk a lot. We get existential about motherhood quick. Like we're backstage hanging out. Yeah. So as I was leaving on Saturday, I was pulling my wagon out with all my gear and I went to tell her bye. And so she was standing there telling me a little gossip, which was cool. Like really good gossip. I won't tell, I'm not saying a word. But anyway, so Mahali is her husband. He walked out of the bus and again, when I'm backstage with them, if I see them and we make eye contact, I wave, but I leave them alone. I don't try to take their picture backstage. I don't, you know what I mean? I just leave them alone. And I've never tried to I'm not one of those photographers that takes pictures of the musicians' kids. Lots of photographers do that for and that's not a good idea. Don't do that. Or, you know, if you're like me and you're friends with the mom, take a few of the kids, send them to the mom. That's it. Don't put them online. Don't use the musician's children for your promotion. But anyway, so I'm standing there talking to Mahali and his wife, and I had enough time to tell Mahali because he's the lead singer of one of my favorite bands, Twiddle, which is going on hiatus, and Mahali's going to keep doing his thing. And I told him how happy I am that he's going to keep doing his solo thing because his music means so much to me. He's maybe the most incredible lyricist out there, in my opinion. I mean, his lyrics are just off the charts. And he's got, in his band now, he's got my friend Scott Hannay, who's going to be on keys, who's crushes. And he's got Adrian Tramontano on drums, which John Fishman from Fish called Adrian his favorite drummer. If that tells you how good Adrian is. So it's like the dream team of people, and they're making music that I love. And I got to tell him that. And then I got to hug Mahali and his three-way hug. And I held it together the whole time. I was on my way out the door with the wagon. I held it together. And then I got to the car and I just lost it. Like I started crying, but like happy tears. I'm like, that was the coolest thing that's ever happened. Oh my God. But you got to hold it together. Even my autistic butt could hold it together. I held it together. But yeah. That is the exciting, it is the really, really good part about it. It's hard work, but those moments make it worth it.
Yeah, it seems so surreal. Like, I haven't gotten to be a concert photographer yet. It could happen.
You will. You will.
It could. But I went to the Billy Idol concert not too long ago, and we were front, like up front.
Awesome. Yeah.
And he was getting tickled at me and the lady next to me, and I'm like, oh my God. Billy Idol is laughing at me. He's getting tickled at me. He's staring at me. Billy freaking Idol.
Yeah. No, I know.
I fangirled a little bit because I'm like, yes, it's Billy Idol.
Yes.
And I
learned really. Yeah. Luckily, I learned right before I got approved to shoot Shaggy and TLC and En Vogue. I did Memorial Meltdown, which was another festival. And I was really excited to shoot Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad because they're one of my favorite bands too. And I had never gotten to see them live, let alone shoot them. And so I was really starstruck. And I noticed that my photos of them were not as good as my photos of the bands that I had, done before. And then, of course, my very next show is TLC, En Vogue, and all of them. And I'm like, okay, you can't get starstruck. And luckily, I was so focused on trying to work that damn camera. Like, I didn't have time to be up until he stuck the mic in his pants. When he stuck the mic in his pants, it was a wash. But before then, up till then, I didn't let myself get starstruck. I held it in check because I learned that was a thing. It affects my photography.
Yeah.
So
I should take it back a little bit. I have done concert photography, but like not any mainstream concert photography. The only photography that I've done is on my phone camera, which I happen to luck out and have a really good phone camera.
I've seen some really good shots from phones. Yeah, I've seen some really good shots from phones, and honestly, that might be just enough to get you at, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you're willing to work for a ticket.